Good morning, Facebook friends. It is a little late. It's a little past 7:30 this morning, but I did want to not skip the morning talk on addiction and yoga philosophy, and what that means. It's Monday morning, and I know that things are a little bit different right now than what they normally would be. But traditionally, Monday mornings are a place to check in with yourself and see how you did over the weekend. Not everyone's weekend is the same, so obviously this would be different for people who work different schedules. But for me, Monday morning was always a time of, how do I feel? How do I feel like I did this weekend? How do I feel about myself and my choices? Am I ready to go back to work today? Did I get all my stuff done around the house yesterday and I'm ready to go back to work? And did I follow all these things that I set for myself, or did it all go to shit between Friday and Sunday? So, even though our schedules are a little weird right now, I still want to keep some structure of this, so I'm going to just still use Monday. As always, I like to say, my name is Paris. This is Wicked Kind Yoga. I am not a doctor or a drug or alcohol counselor. I'm simply sharing the tools that worked for me when it came to addiction and using my yoga to do that. So, Monday morning check-in. This is just like a little thing that I like to do, and maybe this will work for you. And this is all we're going to do today, just really simple. We're going to go back to what we talked about on Friday, which is aparigraha, and that is the addiction itself. And then the other 4 parts of the yamas that relate to that. So, first of all, I have my calendar. I know I talked at the very beginning of this kind of series about having your calendar. So it's Monday, some days less than mindfully write down what day it is for me as far as keeping track of sobriety. Mondays I like to okay, here's where we are for the week. So today for me is day number 338. So put that on my calendar. I know, Monday morning check-in, today is 338, here's my week, there you go. And then I go back to all of these things that, like I said on Friday, I was going to do for myself, right? We wrote down our list on Friday's lesson of each of these part yamas and what we were going to do in relation to our addiction. So then I go back and I check in with myself, and over the weekend when I have this sort of break, did I stay in line with all of these things that I lined up for myself in terms of my addiction? Which I didn't drink or anything, so that stays, that's good, first of all. Then I would like your activity is to go back through your list from Friday and see if you followed along with those. So if you didn't make your list on Friday, go back to Friday's video, make the list, and then see how you did in comparison with that. And then you can make a new list for this week if you want, or whatever. It is Monday, so it would be a nice time to start a new list for this week, and you go Monday to Monday. It gives you kind of a sense of time right now with what's going on. If you're sort of in that wonky thing, I keep calling it Saturday, Tuesday, because we're just kind of floating right now. Time is irrelevant, but that's a whole other subject. Anyway, so I'm going to go back to my list. I'm going to say, okay, so for ahimsa, which is nonviolence or non-harm, one of the things that I left to myself was, I feel so sick. This is the way that I used to feel when I would wake up in the mornings with a hangover. So I feel so sick. I don't. So I adhered to that goal that I set for myself. Satya, I can have just one if I want to. That was my lie to tell myself. And how do I not fall into that lie? Well, I didn't. I did have a couple of non-alcoholic beers. I really like a couple of non-alcoholic beers, especially gardening in the sun. I think it's great. Heineken Zero has absolutely no alcohol, so that's my favorite. It also tastes the best, but also a whole other story. But my Satya, my truth telling, I can have just one. Well, I'm not going to lie and say I don't want to have one. I do. I would like to have a glass of wine outside and watch the sunset. But I can't. So I didn't. So, bam, done and done. Okay, check in with myself. I will allow myself all minutes of the day for peace. I did that. I did not spend any time over this weekend worrying about what I had said or what I had did or time I had wasted. So I stayed with that. And then for my brahmacharya, I will be present in all romantic relationships. Well, there's nothing, it's not happening. So, there's nothing really to adhere to for me for this weekend, and probably a lot of people that are single right now, there's not, self-isolation isn't really a time to be starting any of that, right? So there's not really anything to adhere to there, except for just being aware of how you feel about things, like thoughts of like, okay, well, when this is over and I can go out into the world again, what is that going to be like? That's really all we can do there. So Monday morning, check in with myself. In order to heed my addiction, did I follow all of these guidelines that I set for myself? And the answer for me is yes. So I ask that if you want to participate and you want to follow along with me, if you didn't do Fridays, like I said, go back to Friday, write your list of how you're going to use these principles to keep up with your addiction, and then see if you followed that. And then when you're finished with that, reflect over the weekend and then start again. Let's start again for today. So I'll go down the list, and for each of these I'm going to write something new for myself for this week. I don't know yet what that's going to be. I'm going to have to sit down with my coffee and think about it. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to write for this week, what am I going to do to follow along with each of these guidelines? Non-violence, non-lying, non-stealing, and sexual restraint or sexual safety. Tomorrow's addiction class meeting will include a meditation and a little talk, but mostly meditation. So we'll be at 7:30 tomorrow Pacific time. Like I always say, if anybody's watching and you have any questions, if you want to talk, if you want to do a Zoom or WebEx or something meeting instead or in addition, I'm always open for that. Just let me know how you're feeling and if this is working for you, and I would really appreciate the feedback. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day. Ooh. Morning movement, 8 o'clock, which is pretty soon, so get your body moving too.